Have you ever felt lost? Not the kind of lost where your GPS fails you, but the deep, soul searching kind of lost. Lost in life. When you think of Allah's promises, there's a promise that many people overlook, and it's a promise that speaks directly to that feeling. What are you looking for, and are you firm upon it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a beautiful divine promise. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. As for those who strive in our cause, we will surely guide them along the way, along our way. This is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is with the muhsineen. وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى وَآتَاهُمْ تَقْوَاهُم. Another promise similar to this. As for those who are rightly guided, Allah increases them in guidance and blesses them with righteousness. There's something beautiful about this that a lot of times Muslims and non-Muslims may overlook. There's an exchange. And if you notice the exchange, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's telling us about it in detail. You take a step towards guidance and Allah will help you take many more. You show effort, the hard work, you did your part to be a better person for Allah's sake, and Allah will show you the way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you clarity as well. I want to share with you 3 powerful stories that show us this particular promise of Allah in action, the promise of guidance. And so the first story is the story of last breaths. Imagine this. There's a man who in the United States searched for truth his entire life. These are his words. And after years of searching, he finally finds Islam, accepts it. And he gets to the masjid after Isha prayer. He doesn't even get a chance to pray Isha. On the way out of the masjid, he was hit by a vehicle and he passed away. May Allah have mercy on him. Subhanallah. He went his life searching. He didn't consider Islam early on because of all the lies and misconceptions in the world. But when he finally opened up his heart to it and he accepted Islam, it ended up being the last thing that he did. So he met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a state in which his slate is clean. There's another example in terms of stories, and I've shared this many times before, and you've heard many like it around the world. Some of the earthquakes, like the one in Turkey and Syria, may Allah accept the deceased as martyrs, under the rubble, weak and dehydrated. There was a man that they got to. They couldn't get him out yet, but they got to him under the rubble. They're talking to him. They heard a voice. Now they're trying to get the man out. They're trying to rescue him. But in the meantime, they're trying to push water between the rubble to this man, and they want him to drink so he's not dehydrated. And he says, I need to make wudu. Make sure there's enough water. I need to make wudu. Why? Because he hasn't prayed yet. His thought went to salah, and he was trying to pray with tayammum for the entire duration he was under the rubble. Stuck under the rubble, and his first thought with water is, let me finally make wudu so I can pray. This is what guidance looks like. Your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes your priority even in your darkest moments. And of course, you think in different parts of the world today, some of our brothers and sisters, they can't freely practice Islam. And yet they teach their children about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whispers, and they pray in secret, and they hold on to their faith with unimaginable strength. This is the power of guidance, and it becomes your anchor in every storm. And when you act on guidance, something beautiful happens. Your heart becomes more sensitive towards what's right, and your understanding of the truth deepens, and your actions become more sincere, and your connection with Allah strengthens. A lot of people ask, what are some practical steps to seek guidance? First and foremost, you always start by turning to Allah and you ask for help. Oh Allah, show us the truth as truth. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan wa alhimna ittiba'a. And guide us, give us the ability to follow that truth. Make this a daily dua. Think of the prayer you request every single day when you say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Keep us guided along the straight path. Focus every day on your actions, the 5 daily prayers, the voluntary acts of worship, and seek knowledge consistently. It will help reinforce your guidance like nothing else. But also, remove the obstacles. Identify what's holding you back from guidance. What's holding you back from being a better person. And make gradual, sustainable changes, and surround yourself with good company anytime that you can. And imagine this, if every Muslim practiced Islam fully in the world today, justice would spread to so many lands and places. Compassion would spread and prevail. Communities would be strengthened. Hearts would find peace. So take this moment to think about your personal journey and ask yourself, what's one step I can take today towards guidance? What's stopping me from taking that step? And how can I make space in my life, real space, real conscious time for a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember, every time you feel lost, every time the path seems unclear, Allah's promise stands firm. And Allah wants you to be guided. وَلَا يَرْضَى لِعِبَادِهِ الْكُفْرِ. He doesn't want people to choose the other path, the path of rejection, the path of disbelief, the path of being lost. But we have to make choices. And if you take action and you take the first step, Allah will show you the way. Here's a question for you. How can Muslims express more gratitude to Allah for the blessing of guidance? What can you do every day to show Allah that you are thankful for the blessing of being guided to the truth?